this morning, and welcome to a Ohio State fans are flipping out edition of the OHIO podcast. When it comes to the rumors that Ross Bjork and Ryan Day are not on the same page when it comes to NIL, do us a big favor. Smash that like button if you don't mind. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, get notified every time we go live, just like we will tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Eastern, right here on the OHIO Podcast Sunday Night Discussion Roundtable Show, when this guy, number 43, Ryan Miller, joins us to talk about Second and Seven, Little Libraries, and the upcoming season at Ohio State. You're not going to want to miss that fantastic show. Let us know what you think about what we think down in the comments section below. Let's get right into it this morning. So, surfing around social media on the Buckeye sphere yesterday and coming across a huge rumor that Ryan Day and Ross Bjork disagree on the changes that have been made over at Ohio State when it comes to pulling the NIL collectives in-house and giving the athletic department control over dispersing player funds to when it comes to NIL deals. This is the, um, I guess you could say, battle line that's being drawn among fans when it comes to this particular rumor that Ross Bjork, the athletic director, Ryan Day, the head football coach, are not on the same page. Let me address why fans are feeling this way first. Number one, when you're coming off a national championship like Ohio State is, you would assume that your recruiting would get a bump. Instead of getting a bump, currently in Ohio State's 247 composite rankings, we're actually falling. And falling behind not only where we were previously, but falling behind where Ryan Day has been able to be when it comes to those recruiting rankings in previous seasons. Top 5 classes, top 4 classes, etc. Currently, Ohio State somewhere sitting at 7th or 8th. And so there's questions of why. Why is this going on? And on top of that, you would assume again that Ohio State would have a recruiting bump, not a recruiting slide. Obviously, and this is no surprise to anybody who's been paying attention. Whatever method Ohio State is taking when it comes to the promises of front-loaded NIL deals to recruits, this method isn't as successful as what other schools are currently doing. The argument lies in where is the legality of offering NIL deals to young men for pay to play. In other words, you're a recruit, you decide to come to this college, here's what we're willing to pay you. Now, the understanding of the new rules that were put into place is where a lot of fans are in kind of this disagreement. Let's first take a look at what is being reported by certain individuals in the on the beat and is has put into place. That is where the argument lies. So the rumor is that Ohio State submitted a $10,000 NIL package for a particular player with a business to NIL Go, and it was rejected, meaning that the price that was put on this NIL for this particular player, the NCAA or the NIL Go that was established by NCAA, basically said no dice. It's too much money, or we're not going to accept this. That is one report that has been placed out there. So if indeed that is true, then there's obviously a disconnect between, well, what is the value of the player versus what he is receiving from NIL? And then also, how are these recruits who are in high school receiving these promises of NIL money if if you have to put that through NIL go and it's going to be rejected, right? There's this huge disconnect. Again, the waters are very murky. There's a lot of confusion on this. And so a lot of schools and universities are just flippantly offering tons of money to recruits, 2, 3 million in the sense of Texas Tech with Felix Ojo, $5 million to come play at Texas Tech. And these kids are getting offered this amount of money, and there are certain individuals, certain athletic directors who are saying this isn't what the NCAA just announced. And so the rumor is that Ross Bjork falls on that side of the argument where he's like, listen, we have to play by the book here. We have to play by the rules. And so we're bringing our collective in, and there's only a certain amount of money we can offer, and that's how we're going to disperse it among the football players on the team. And so it's hamstringing Ryan Day when it comes to how he's able to recruit these young men who are coming out of high school, and he's not able to really necessarily offer them anywhere close to the finances that some of these other schools are promising these kids. And so the rumor is that Ryan Day and Ross Bjork disagree on this matter, and that might be the case. I don't know that for a fact. I don't think anybody truly knows 100% for a fact unless Ryan Day has shared with somebody. But every time Ryan Day speaks publicly, and he's asked about recruiting, he's asked about maybe some of the recruiting misses or the kind of people that he's going after in recruiting, Ryan always deflects to his belief that you have to get the right players who fit the culture at Ohio State, not necessarily the ones who are just looking for a paycheck. Now, here's what's interesting. Ryan has been saying this for years. He's not changed his stance on that answer, and I feel it's a very good answer. Now, behind closed doors, privately, does Ryan feel like his hands are being tied when it comes to recruiting some of these kids because he's not able to offer or quote unquote promise? And maybe so. That 100% absolutely could be true. I'm not saying it is not, but I will give Ryan Day credit that his answer when questioned or similar questions about this particular topic has never changed. And plus, he now has, I guess you could say, the proof in the pudding that culture over a period of time, given what happened last year and with the loss to end the regular season at the end of November and then the 4 game playoff run, very much because of the culture that was established at Ohio State with Ryan Day and some of these other players, where you look for kids who are going to be a cultural fit to develop. So it's a great answer, but I will attest to the fact that maybe it's not completely 100% the entire truth when presented with the question or the ideology of, hey, what's up with the recruiting this off season? On the flip side of that, let's take Ross Bjork's side of things here for just a minute. Ross Bjork's number one purpose and goal here is to make sure Ohio State is compliant, number one, and number two, still successful in all their sports, but most importantly, football. Ross Bjork is not a dummy here, guys. He's not a Kansas man who came from Texas A&M to Ohio State to sabotage the program. He knows the football program is the front porch of the Ohio State University. He understands the importance of having a football program that is not only successful but competes for Big Ten and national championships year in and year out. He knows that. He understands that if volleyball, wrestling, gymnastics, tiddlywinks for all we're concerned, whatever sport in those varsity sports that Ohio State has, whatever sport he's talking about, its success depends on the success of the football program. He knows that. He understands that. So he's not going to sabotage Ohio State's program. What I believe is happening here is Ross Bjork is banking on the fact that what we are seeing taking place right now this offseason with so many teams who are promising NIL deals that so flippantly I guess you could say, wave in the breeze of what the NCAA is attempting to do are all going to be rejected and neglected at some point because of any rules that are getting set in place and because of any legislation that might happen and or any punishment that the NCAA might bring down upon other programs for breaking what they supposedly is their hard rules here. Now, you and I both know, and a lot of you in the comment section are going to say this, that there's going to be a lot of lawyers who are going to take this legislation or these ruling, I don't really know it's considered legislation, but these considered bylaws or rules that the NCAA is trying to put in place, these guardrails, if you will, when it comes to NIL, they're going to challenge them in court. And they're probably going to have a legal leg to stand on that says, hey, you can't determine someone's NIL value. It is a free and open market here. And so what legal leg do they have to stand on? Ross Bjork is leaning on the fact that we don't want to get caught here. That's my opinion. I think that's what he's trying to do here. We don't want to get caught with our pants down doing something illegal here and then getting ourselves in trouble. And so if indeed the NCAA comes down on some of these programs and they say, nope, these are the rules and you broke the rules and you can't pay these players, and all of a sudden, you've got Texas Tech who can't pay 5 million to Ojo. You've got Michigan who can't pay however much they were saying they were going to pay to Carter Meadows, et cetera, et cetera. Then you might see an influx of guys hitting the transfer portal who are upset with their program saying because they lied to me, they couldn't pay me, they said they're going to pay me this, they didn't. You're going to get a lot of, dare I say, spoiled brats. It's one way to call it. Or guys who just feel like they were lied to, however you want to look at it. And these kids are going to hit the market and they're going to hit the transfer portal. And a lot of these programs are going to be set back big time. Now, the gamble here is that if the NCAA does nothing or can't do anything, and all the wild, wild west recruiting that is happening here with the NIL that's going on with these kids, all of this that's taking place is fine and you can just do it, then Ohio State possibly has set themselves back a season or two or more here because of this decision. And so the rumor is that Ryan Day and Ross Bjork don't see eye to eye on this particular issue that is taking place. And again, I think Ross Bjork, he's no dummy here. He knows what's going on. He saw NIL firsthand at Texas A&M where money was just flowing like crazy and it didn't equate to wins. He also, in his first year as athletic director of Ohio State, saw what Ryan Day was able to do and the results of that. And I think Ross Bjork maybe has pulled back the reins on NIL maybe a little bit too much, possibly. But at the same time, I think he's banking on, hey, until we know exactly what the rules, the bylaws, and guardrails are going to be in place, we're going to play it safe. And I'm going to bet on my man, Ryan Day, can overcome this through culture and development with this coaching staff and these players who are here. Now, there's one other thing nobody's talking about with this that I will address in another video, and that is that Ryan Day has a proven NIL slash professional looking blueprint that wins national championships. No one's talking about it, and it needs to be looked at a little bit closer because I think Ryan Day, along with Ross Bjork and this current roster that they have, are setting up for something down the road a little bit special that has already been proven to work. And we will address that in a future video. But for now, This is the big rumor that's going out there that Ryan Day and Ross Bjork aren't on the same page. They disagree when it comes to this NIL. What do you all think? I want to know what you think down in the comment section below. Is that true? Is it kind of being blown out of proportion a little bit? Are you concerned about Ohio State's current recruiting, what's happening here in this class? Or do you think Ohio State's just kind of biding their time a little bit, looking for a little bit more clarification, and then maybe might, on the back end in the home stretch of this 2026 recruiting class during the season, once they get that clarification and answer, they've got a load of NIL that they can use to go after certain guys to flip them, make sure they bring them in house. What do you think? I want to know what you all think. This is a very interesting topic and it's an interesting debate. And right now, it's just a rumor. No one knows the exact truth. And if someone does, they're not really saying for a fact, here's what I know. But you can kind of read the tea leaves here. You can kind of see what Ross Bjork is doing. You can kind of see how he's reacting. And you can kind of get a little bit of what Ryan Day's saying with the continual good answer over and over again without really addressing what's happening in recruiting. Of course, you can just look at recruiting the numbers themselves and you can see something's a little bit different here. Let me know what you all think. Have a great weekend, everybody. Don't forget tomorrow night's show, 8 o'clock Eastern. Ryan Miller will be with us. It's going to be a great time. We're going to be raising money for our second little library through Second and Seven, and we want all of you to be a huge part of that. So make sure you set them clocks, set those reminders, ring the bell so you don't miss tomorrow night's live show at 8 o'clock Eastern on Sunday night. Till next time, be kind to one another. I owe someone's OH, and Carmen and I with all your heart. You all know what to do. Go Bucks.